Hello, lovely viewer, how are you? I think all of you are well. Today I'm discuss on critical hypervisor XenServer 8.2 or later version, and from the day we will discuss with you full critical hypervisor XenServer version with apparent virtualization step by step. So our full course we divided into 10 modules. So this is the all module. So 10 module we divide our full class. Step by step I give you the all videos on these modules. So first module is what is XenServer and its architecture. Second module, how XenServer manages its virtual machines, that means VMs. And third module is the lab, and physically we will show you how to install a XenServer on physical server. And module 4 hotfix and upgrade. Module 5 is the resourceful and load balancing of XenServer VMs. And module 6 is networking. Module 7 is storage. Module 8 is high availability. Beside this high availability, we will discuss about the Aberrun virtualization. Module 9 is security, and module 10 optimization and troubleshooting. So this is our lab. This is the view of our lab. So from the beginning to the last, we will make a full XenServer with the aberrant virtualization. We will discuss the full course, and after the course we will make this lab and show you how to manage the XenServer. So this is a simple view of critic XenServer and XenCenter. This is the XenServer, two XenServer, and this is the XenCenter, and we will create a pool of this XenCenter. So first module, what is XenServer and XenServer architecture? So what is XenServer? XenServer first released in 2003, and it is developed by the Cambridge University Computer Laboratory. Xen community maintained by the Xen as a free and open source software. But when you install the XenServer on power plant or in industry, you must buy an enterprise version. So Xen is managing the RAM and CPU for the PM. Xen is a type 1 hypervisor. Do you know about the type 1 hypervisor? Type 1 hypervisor or bare metal is the same thing. So type 1 hypervisor is referred to a bare metal. This means it runs directly on the physical hardware of the host machine. It does not have to load an underlying operating system before that. So this definition for type 1 hypervisor and this definition for type 2 hypervisor. Okay. So a few examples of type 4 hypervisor are Critic's XenServer, which we will discuss in our full course, and VMware EXA and Microsoft Hypervisor P. This is the example of type 1 hypervisor or bare metal hypervisor. This is the bare metal hypervisor example. Type 1 hypervisor or bare metal hypervisor, same thing. So bare metal hypervisor means when you install our hypervisor directly on the physical hardware. This is a type 1 hypervisor. And guest OS are installed on this hypervisor. So hypervisor ran this guest OS. And type 1 type 2 hypervisor difference is type 2 hypervisor are not directly installed on hardware. Hardware has a own operating system. This is another OS operating system. So on this operating system we install the hypervisor, and hypervisor maintain this all VMs. This is the VM. So this is called the type hypervisor, and this is called the type of hypervisor. Okay. So now we discuss the type 2 and type 1 hypervisor difference. The main difference between the type 1 and type 2 hypervisor is the type 2 hypervisor are typically installed on the existing operating system. That means type 2 hypervisor means hypervisor are installed on existing operating system. So this is called the type 2 hypervisor. So type 2 hypervisor example, which are type 2 hypervisor example? Oracle VirtualBox, VMware Workstation, Oracle SolarZone, VMware Fusion, Oracle VM Server for 86 and more. So when you install the Oracle VirtualBox or VMware Workstation, when we install on our Windows or Linux PC, then this our VM install on this Oracle VirtualBox or VMware Workstation, etc. So this is the main difference of type 1 and type 2 hypervisor. I hope you are clear. So XenServer configuration. XenServer configuration has a few limitations. So XenServer per XenServer VM 1.5 terabyte RAM and maximum 32 virtual CPU support by a VM. So if we install a VM, you never over this configuration. So this means virtual CPU are scheduled by the hypervisor onto the physical CPUs. So virtual CPU always scheduled by the hypervisor onto the physical CPU. You have single physical CPU, and you have more than 2, 3, 4 virtual CPU, depend on your thread core of your physical CPU. How many virtual CPU do you have? So virtual CPU always scheduling depending on the load of the hypervisor. So hypervisor automatically schedule this virtual CPU between the VMs. So a single VM can be very large enterprise workload size. Virtual CPU must run on physical cores. I hope you are clear. So hypervisor layer and DOM 0. This is the very important thinking. So hypervisor, the hypervisor is the core virtualization layer that run directly on the hardware. So this is the main concept or type of hypervisor. Type of hypervisor means the core virtualization layer that run directly on the hardware. So in Xen architecture, every virtual machine, every VM is called a domain. Understand? In Xen architecture, that means in XenServer, each and every VM is called domain. So each have the two types of domain, DOM 0 and DOM U. So DOM 0 means domain 0. It is the control domain. It is the special Linux based control domain. So DOM 0 is the control domain and DOM U is the unprivileged domain. So DOM is the Linux based control domain started by the hypervisor. It has memory limitation. you can set up to 64 GB RAM. Usually we can use 6 to 8 GB RAM maximum for the DOM 0. So if you set up the less memory than less than 2 GB RAM for the DOM 0, your hypervisor should be lag. So you carefully tuning this DOM 0 RAM. So in our lab we will see everything in details. So DOM 0, what do the DOM 0? DOM 0 handle the device driver means storage, network or other hardware driver. And secondly, it's manage the storage management. Storage management, SR, storage repository, virtual, disk image, BBD, LBM, etc. And thirdly, DOM0 handle the network stack, that means NIC Janvar. Do you know Janvar? Janvar is Linux bridge. NIC network interface card. And fourth, DOM0 handle the VM lifecycle. So the lifecycle means creating the VM, start and stop the VM, migrating VM, CPU RAM allocation. DOM0 memory is carefully tuned. DOM0 use physical driver. Too small DOM0 RAM, performance issue. Too large DOM0, reduce the memory available for VM. So it's too more careful, need to more careful to tune the DOM0 memory. And the last configuration is host hardware limit. Host hardware limit means XenServer hardware limit. You can buy HP or Dell or Fujitsu XenServer. XenServer physical hardware means host up to 5 terabyte RAM and 244 physical CPUs. Not over this, never. And from this link you can read details from this. Okay, so XenServer license. Nowadays XenServer use the license server, and Siemens use the Omnibus use the own server, own license server. Okay, if you use a XenServer for a virtual apps and desktop, the license is included. If you don't have the virtual app and desktop licensing on a per CPU socket basis, you will use the Critics license server. So if you use the latest version or later version, Xen community support you 10 years after the release date. So if its release date, if its release date is 2002 and now you 2006, so you can support by the Xen authority only for 6 years. So XenServer LTSR, long-term support registry. It is very important. A migration from CR to LTSR, long-term support register, needs a complete reinstall of XenServer. It cannot be done using an update process. Clear? So it's completely installed in new version, not update. To remain in support with CR, it's important to update to latest version. is the XenServer component. A VM in XenServer, every VM in XenServer is domain. It would be gas domain. Gas domain means DOMU or unprivileged domain. So when virtual machine is not running, no domain exists. When virtual machine is start, the domain is created. That means VM means the domain. Domains mean which domain? It's the DOMU. Every VM is DOMU. Every guest domain is DOMU. So DOMU means unprivileged domain, and privileged domain means DOM0. DOM0 based on CentOS. DOM0 is sometimes called a control domain or privileged domain. Already I have told you. DOM0 is the first VM that is started by the Xen hypervisor. DOM0 has directly access to the hardware. So it is related to the hardware. DOM0 manages the network and storage IO of all guest VM. When you command any VM, when you command any VM, is the guest VM1, guest VM2. So all VM execute their command through this line from these, and XCPI means XenServer database. So XCPI, QMIO, then the computer, hypervisor, then the physical host. So it is the very important DOM0. No command cannot overpass the DOM0. Every command come and go through the DOM0. So DOM0 is very important. When you edit any physical network address, such as NIC address, or any network edit or any work you can done, after every work done, you must restart this XCPI service XCPI restart command execute. Without this command, maybe your work cannot properly work, properly process. So very careful. So this is XenServer RESISTful. XenServer is a group of XenServer hosts that are managed as a single entity. Maximum 16 hosts can be connected together by a XenServer, creating a XenServer resource pool. One server in the pool is designed as a pool master and provide a single point of contact for all other servers. So if you connect the 16 hosts, one host would be master and remaining 15 hosts would be member. So maximum 16 hosts you can connect in a pool. Each of the server can manually be detected to take over the master role, since they are most identical to each other anyway. So XenServer, how to access XenServer? How to access the XenServer? XenServer, MSI, PowerShell, or through the console, XeConsole. I'll show you how to download the XenServer from the XenServer. So what we will discuss. First, a domain is a VM. DOMU is any virtual machine guest. DOM0 is the control domain, and DOMU is the unprivileged domain, and DOMU always the guest VM. DOM0 is managing the network and storage. Xen is managing the memory and CPU. And next class we will discuss the module 2, how to manage the virtual machine by hypervisor. Thank you. No more today. And